What's going on, Cancer? And welcome to the Chariot Friends. Justin here, and I hope you're feeling amazing today. So, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really does mean a lot to me, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy Harris has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey. Now, the purpose of this channel, for those of you who have Cancer in your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, wherever, Cancer, this one's for you. And I do tarot card spreads based off our ruler here, the good old Moon. And I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, when she's going void, of course, just all of those lunar shenanigans. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one, so take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me. Never force a reading on a situation, and everything will be fantastic, Cancer. Now, let's jump into it. Your space has been cleansed. Gems, feeling lovely. Just good energy all around here, Cancer. Now, Cancer, the moon is going to be going void of course today. She'll be going void of course a little later this evening. Oddly enough, like a minute after she went void of course last time. It's going to be about 7:06 in the evening, and that's going to be Central Time. And then she'll be going from Capricorn into Aquarius be entering Aquarius at 11:34. So we're looking at about almost a 4.5 hour void of course there, Cancer. And with the void of course, wands all over the place. But with the void of course, this is a time when it's like when the moon forms her last major aspect with the planet, and then she just kind of wanders off for a little while. She takes a little time and meditates, collect herself. And that's what she invites us to do, Cancer. This is a good time for meditating, recharging your batteries, just getting your head back on straight. And this is also a time too, Cancer, that there may be some unexpected changes with our plans, and also people may be less prone to make a decision during this time. So just something to be mindful of when we're working with these energies. And then with the moon moving into Aquarius, you may be feeling a little more more scientific and more intellectual than feeling emotional. Aquarius is where you can feel emotions. They're just a little more detached from their emotions. But you might be feeling a little a little restless. And there's a strong need to maybe socialize at this time. So just something to be mindful of, Cancer. And then lastly, she's in a waning crescent phase or a balsamic moon. And with this time, during the void of course time, this is a good time for meditating and to figure out what you want to do for the next lunar cycle, which is coming up this weekend, Cancer. Are you pumped? Because I surely am. And it's going to be a good time too, with the sun entering Pisces, the new super moon in Pisces. It's going to be just good energy, Cancer. This is a real dreamy energy coming up here. So make the most of this. And then the decks that I'm using. This is a Wandering Moons Tarot deck, Chariot Friends exclusive. And then the Oracle deck that I'll be using is the Anatomy of a Witch Oracle deck. And I'll include links for these decks and other decks that I like using down in the description box below. So definitely check that out if you're interested, Cancer. Whew. All right, that's enough lunar housekeeping. Let's get to the general energy of the day. What you got here is the Seven of Wands here, Cancer. And with the Seven of Wands popping up, I feel like that at this time, when I'm thinking about the energies that's coming up this weekend with moon going into Pisces, being very creative, very imaginative type of energies. Cancer, I feel like whenever you're cooking up, whatever you're cooking up, Cancer, stay true to that, and what I mean by that is, one, don't, try not to let others, if this is let's say if we're thinking about maybe working on a new business idea, for example, or maybe we're thinking of a project, and if we bounce the ideas off of people, try not to take their opinions to heart if it maybe comes across as overly critical. We want and to be mindful too, when you go to present these stuff to those people again in the future, maybe reevaluate what we maybe tell these people. We want people who, I'm all for constructive criticism, but I feel like people sometimes tend to focus more on the criticizing part than providing some solutions on top of that. It's like, hey, I noticed with this thing, it's like, let's say if you're wanting to start like a gardening store, it's like, okay, well, I love the idea of plants everywhere. It's like, is this a good season time for it? Would it make more sense to maybe start in the spring? What are we going to do? What would you think about doing for inventory? Are you going to do more kind of like floral? Are you thinking about doing more kind of like just like green plants? Like if it's that type of stuff, that's what we want. That's someone who's trying to raise that vibration. Those are the opinions for me personally. Those are the people that I want to try to work with when I'm bouncing ideas off of each other. So just something to think about, Cancer. And one more thing. When we decide to embark on anything, Cancer, if it's something that it's something that you're excited about, be excited about that thing. Don't let some stuff that we tell ourselves as well kind of keep you down or keep you from pursuing new things. Because let's say for example you've been thinking about wanting to this next lunar cycle, you want to figure out how we're going to make more time to travel. Instead of thinking like, oh, well, Cancer, you don't have enough money, you can't possibly go abroad, do you even have a passport? Instead of focusing on all the things that we don't have when we're going into this, whatever it is that you're thinking in lunar cycles and in life, Cancer, I feel like we focus sometimes on what we don't have, and that deters us from taking new action and trying new things out, whether it is trying, new work opportunities, new hobbies, new whatever. I think that we tend to kind of, sometimes we could focus on what we don't have, and that could stagnate us a little bit. So just something to think about, Cancer, when you're going to go about starting stuff. Keep an open mind. You work with the resources that you have, because I feel like when you really want something, Cancer, and if you sat down for a second, you can absolutely figure it out. So just something to think about. But let's get into the next couple cards here, which is going to be how we can work with this energy here. So let's see. Oh, all right. Let's see. Interesting. Okay. So we got the Six of Stars here, Cancer, in reverse. And I like that, because this has kind of been what I've been talking about here for over the last little bit, is about like where we're pouring our energies. Because sometimes time, I feel like, is a big factor for wanting to start anything. Let's say, for example, if you wanted to learn a new language, I feel like sometimes we try to want to carve out like maybe like an hour or like 50, however I feel like we try to carve out like huge chunks of time. And instead of doing that, Cancer, I feel like it's about finding like little small pockets. Let's say instead of, and not that I'm coming at you, Cancer, but let's say if for example you like to scroll through social media, we're on Facebook, Instagram, where you're waiting on me to post stuff, and and we might be waiting a minute. But you might be waiting on seeing what stories are going on. In that time, Cancer, could you have been learning a new language? Could you have been creating something? Could you have been doing just anything, Cancer? You know what I mean? It's just like, let's take a moment and just sort of see where when we say we don't have enough time in the day, seeing where we're investing our time, Cancer, and see if we can balance things out a little bit, get a little more equilibrium around your day. Sometimes it doesn't even always have to be focused here, finding the balance here. Sometimes the balance is getting our external world kind of lined up too, get as within, so without. We want to get everything balanced here. That was kind of neat. But Cancer, just something to think about when we're working with this energy. Let's see what else we're dealing with here. Those. Okay, dope. Man, Nine of Wands. Ooh, but look, I was going to say Nine of Wands is following us around here a bit, Cancer, but so is the Emperor. And I'm with that. Because here's the thing. With this Nine of Wands popping up, if we, it's, when we set our mind on a goal, I feel like that for me, sometimes I feel like that we try to wait for like for New Year's to come around, you know, or to make like a New Year's resolution, or like the next lunar cycle to make a decision, or for, let's say, like the first of the month. And Cancer, I feel like if this is something where you want to pick up something new, you want to try something different, I say the sooner the better. You know, make it work for you. But I feel like that sometimes if we push stuff off like really far off dates, let's say you're thinking, oh, I'll start it on the first, and it's like the third of the month. The month just started. You know, maybe we missed our window. It's like, oh, well, you know, I want to keep it even, so I'll just start on the first here. And I say, Cancer, I say just like maybe move it, like instead of like maybe a month, maybe try moving it like a week over, or maybe like moving it a couple days over. It's like, can we make this work? You know, can we just rise up to the occasion when the time comes? You know, I feel like not that you take time for granted, Cancer, but that is something where just to be mindful, you know, when we plan out like, you know, so far in advance, it's like where I'm all for having a plan. Sometimes, you know, it's good to just act on stuff presently, you know, and I hope that makes sense. I feel like with this energy, you know, it's just like, why wait? You know, it's what I'm really kind of getting with this Emperor Nine of Wands combo here. It's just like, if it's something that we can start sooner, you know what I mean, Cancer? I get where there are some things that maybe you have to get some stuff lined up, you know, that's one thing. But if there's some other things that maybe we can get started now, like that, like said language, you know, or maybe if you wanted to, maybe like if you're thinking about starting a business, maybe I get if you got to get some game plan stuff, but can we start writing up some drafts? Can we start getting some ideas? Maybe start setting up some, like, get some meetups set up, you know, just little things, Cancer. You know, I feel like that sometimes I'll do it soon, or, you know, we'll do it later, or, you know, I'll get to it when I get to it. And it's just like, you know, when I feel like, especially when it's something that I feel like something that's going to add value to you, Cancer, I feel like, you know, go for it, you know, like, and see, and just see where that takes you. And then I feel like that's even going to get you how you operate in life going forward. It's just, you're going to be more just kind of, I don't want to say like dragging your feet, but just more prone to just like, oh, you know, when I want to do something, you know, let's just do it. Let's just do it. Like I'm going to get the ball rolling right now, you know, Chariot energy. So hopefully that makes sense, Cancer. But let's get to some challenges. Let's see what are some challenges that might come up when working with this energy. Oh, all right. So one of the challenges, Cancer, is that we got the Three of Stars in reverse here. Three of Stars is following us around too. And, you know, I feel like that, collaboration. You know, I feel like that this Three of Stars is really, really kind of asking us to kind of get a game plan here, Cancer. You know, I feel like that if we've been thinking about maybe starting up something, just starting up something, you know what I mean? I think that if we're having a hard time maybe getting this thing off the ground, or maybe finding that momentum, or whatever that is, Cancer, I really feel like some challenges, or, you know, how we can work with that challenge is to either write out a list, you know, kind of put like some steps, you know, each day, you know, make like a future accomplishments list. You know, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z today, and then that'll get this ball rolling for this thing tomorrow, and then that'll get that going for next week, you know, or possibly, you know, if we're kind of, you know, depending on what you're trying to do, maybe this is something where you might need to bounce some ideas off of other people. Maybe this is something where this is going to be like a group effort here. You know, I'm not, you know, where whatever it is that you're trying to channel your energy here, Cancer, I feel like that it's one of those things that we may we may even be overthinking it, Cancer. I feel like as far as, starting stuff, I feel like maybe, I feel with this Three of Stars, it seems like you have this the energy here to get stuff going, but there's something that's getting in the way, and I'm wondering if it's like a fear, or if it's or what that is, maybe doubts, or something along those lines, Cancer. But I just feel like that it really, I don't think, if whatever we may be worried about, I feel like it's not as bad as we think that it may be, Cancer. This, I think I'm going to get a little bit more on this Three of Stars here, Cancer. Can we clarify that, higher self? Yeah, let's get a little bit more on the Three of Stars. Because even when I think about the Three of Stars, this is Mars and Capricorn. And, Mars and Capricorn, it's, when I think about that, it's just like finding a practical approach to this and just getting started, Cancer. I think that this is something where we may be making more work for ourselves than I think we need to. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, Cancer. So the Three of Stars is clarified by the Nine of Stars in reverse. Then you have the King of Wands and the New Moon upright. And if we're thinking about, I really feel like, Cancer, with this new moon coming up, or in just like stuff in the future, I think that it really does come down to really just kind of just when you get the idea, start taking initiative towards it. Really start figuring out ways to get this ball rolling. Because I feel like that if we sit on this too long, Cancer, we're going to be in this place of where we feel like we might have missed an opportunity, that, or maybe that our happiness is going to get further and further away the more we kind of push this off. And that's not the case, Cancer. But it can, if we get mentally in that type of place, then it's going to, it could potentially feel like that, and it's just I feel like a matter of not doubting ourselves, Cancer, and also too, not putting, I don't want to say excuses, but it's like, if we find all the ways to not start up something fresh here, Cancer, it's just like, what is that? Is it a fear of getting out of your comfort zone? I'm not sure what that, what that could be, but I just say try not to overthink it. I think that it's really just a matter of just planting that seed, whatever that idea is, and just watching it grow and seeing where, and really seeing where, yep, and seeing where it goes, Cancer, because here's another challenge card here. We got us here, the Chariot in reverse. And so, I really feel like, Cancer, just if it's not, Cancer, here's the thing too, if this is something where, if you're trying to start something, period, however big or small, and it just seems like we can't get, there always seems to be something that's getting in the way of that. I say while you're in this place of kind of like analysis and like, maybe we'll take this void of course time coming up. Think about how we can maybe rearrange some things in our life. Again, really seeing where your energy is going, because it's not like I'm trying to, because I almost feel like even with this message where it's like, I feel like I'm trying to like force something new on you, Cancer. And that's not the case. It's just that with life, if it's kind of like the same old kind of day in and day out, then I feel like we're not getting the most out of this experience, Cancer. And I feel like that there's really, and again, it's not to say that your life isn't exciting, but I just feel like that there's more excitement out there for you, and for you to add to yourself, and more real, just real cool stuff, that you can just add on to your chariot as you're going along this journey, and then you get more stories to tell others. And it's just, I really feel like that there are experiences that are trying to happen here, Cancer, and that we may be, I feel like that we may be overthinking things a little bit. Just, I feel like that you're not going to look back and think like, man, I'm so glad I played it safe. Everything's pretty chill. I feel like we might look back, when we get, further along on the journey, and think like, man, I wish I would have taken a little more opportunities. And it's not, again, too, Cancer, I'm not saying, like take like crazy risk or anything, but just something to add a little variety in your life. Add some freshness here. So yeah, let's get your last card, which is going to be some, advice. All right, Cancer, it's a reverse party here, and two strong cards of ours. Now we got the High Priestess in reverse here. And, Cancer, I feel like the moon, well, this might be kind of weird, but, well, no, let me put it this way, Cancer. The High Priestess can also be, for me, I feel like sometimes when we don't experience life, or if we kind of, in experience, Cancer, it's different for everyone. I'm not saying that you have to do certain types of things to have a fulfilled life, but when we're not doing things that I feel like fulfill us, or that are adding more fulfillment to our being here, and not even more fulfillment, even just more, because when we do something new, Cancer, that's how inspiration starts. Because when we do the same old, that's all we're manifesting, is just same old stuff. And after a while, that it makes our intuition almost kind of lazy, or just kind of not as sharp, or not as creative, if that makes sense. And I just feel like that if we can introduce something out of the norm here, Cancer, if you're the type who likes to sing, go out for like a karaoke night, or maybe if you're type like who likes to garden, join like a gardening club, or just something like that, Cancer, or just like carve out little time for yourself, or just something to just add some variety, or and again, to not be too critical over this thing, and to not let the responsibilities and I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do that. And it's like, sure, okay, but when you're done doing those things, you're not doing those things, like, you don't have to pay the bills all the time. You don't have to do the stuff all the time. There are little pockets of time here, Cancer. Let's just breathe some newness, just something, Cancer. But let's get to some oracle cards here. Let's get this meeting wrapped up. And you know what, Cancer? What better thing to do this weekend than to do something imaginative? Do something real creative. The moon sets us up, Cancer, and sets us up for success. Any more? Okay. All right, Cancer. Let's switch back over here. Because first, you got the Protect card in reverse here. And with this Protect card, I think I might want to get a clarifier on that. But initially, it's just that I feel like that we've been in this place of, maybe we've been protecting our, how do I want to put this? I feel like that I feel like maybe some of us may have been protecting ourselves from trying new experiences. And hear me out. I feel like that maybe if we think about that initial response when we're like, I think I want to try this, but I don't have time, I don't have this, I don't have that. I think that response, I feel like that is something, it's like a programming, a personal programming, that I feel like that it's just something to get eyes on. Have we been overprotective in the sense of like, have we been, I'm all for being safe, Cancer, and being practical, but when was the last time that you just got out and just lived a little bit, and whatever that means, for you, Cancer? Maybe, when was it, like, if you're a fan of like the fair, when was the last time you went to like a county fair? I don't think it's county fair time, but you know what I mean, Cancer, or just something along those lines, Cancer. I just feel like that maybe we've been keeping ourselves a little too sheltered, or maybe a little too something along those lines, Cancer. And I feel like with this, it's just asking us to kind of break free, to allow ourselves to feel the air against our skin, and just to go out there and just gain some wisdom and gain some stuff, because the air energy, this air card covers Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, and they're all very intellectual signs. And in order to keep that intellect sharp and to keep the mind moving, we have to provide it different stimuli and have different experiences, Cancer, because otherwise it becomes kind of same old, and then we keep ourselves kind of locked in a box, and then we're criticizing ourselves, and then we just we limit our opportunities, because I don't feel like you miss out on opportunities. I feel like the universe provides whatever it is that you put out, but I feel like we just limit the amount of opportunities that can come our way, Cancer. So, I think I'm actually think I'm okay with that Protect card. So just something to think about, Cancer. So, whew, all right. That was an interesting one, Cancer. Definitely took an interesting turn there, but I like that, because Cancer, it really is. It's not like I'm saying you do something like completely crazy. I'm not asking you to like go join the circus. But I don't know, do you like juggling? Practice your juggling, get your juggling skills right. Just random stuff like that, Cancer. Just any little things to add, really, just add value to yourself and just make you that just more of an emperor, you know what I mean? But if you like that, Cancer, give it a thumbs up and share this, Cancer. I feel like that's something that really Cancerians, and just as a soul tribe, we could all benefit from just trying some new stuff here, and keeping the mind sharp, and just keeping our experiences fresh. And if you haven't already, subscribe, hit that bell button. You get notified when I release videos each week. I'm getting better about being on, you know where we're at on social media. I'm getting there. And then lastly, check your sun, check your moon, check your chart, Cancer. I'm thinking about bringing back, I used to do this thing when I had, towards the end, I did like a little news segment at the end when I abridged like very first videos. I think, Cancer, I'm going to introduce back the challenges, for checking your chart. This week, if you haven't checked your moon placement, check your moon placement this weekend. And the thing too, Cancer, because maybe now we're getting off the reading for a second. Maybe when it comes to like finding your sun sign, your moon sign, all of that stuff, all you need is your date of birth, your time of birth, and your place of birth. And the time and the place are going to be, they're all important, but the time and the place really are important, because that's going to find out, where the moon was, and even where your rising sign was, because the rising, that shifts like every 4 minutes, as far as like how it shifts like 1 degree, I think, every 4 minutes or something crazy like that. So it's real important to figure that stuff out. But if you have that information available to you, work with that. And let's say, because I know some people, the theme that I've noticed when I get charts is like, they'll have their date of birth and their place of birth, but the time won't be there. And that's fine, Cancer. It may throw off your rising sign a little bit. That's going to be like the big thing. But usually your moon sign's going to be accurate, and the rest of that stuff is pretty spot on. So, you can even start working with that, and, even seeing how, once you learn that stuff, maybe see how you feel. Do you feel that rising time? Just work with it, Cancer. All that to say, I was like, how did we get on that tangent? Check out my other channel, Alchemist 8. I do weekly readings there with different monthly themes. It's a good old time, and all that housekeeping down in the description box below. Let me get you out of here, because I'm keeping you longer and longer here, Cancer. So, Cancer, first card you got is the Knight of Stars in reverse. And then for your Oracle card, I love that. You got the Memory card in reverse. In Cancer, I feel like that some of us, we may have been dragging our feet on starting something new. If this has been something that you've been telling yourself for a while, it's like, man, I wish I made more time to do X, do it. Do it right now. Figure out some time. If you can't do it right, can't do it today, okay. What you're doing tomorrow. You can figure what you're doing this weekend. Carve out some time. And really, Cancer, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Give yourself 10 minutes. 10 minutes for yourself. Because here's the thing. If you can't find that amount of time for yourself, Cancer, then yeah, something is definitely up with life, and we need to we need to adjust some things, because we should have enough time to always invest in ourselves. And so that we can make new memories, Cancer. Because with the Memory card in reverse, I feel like that it's if we don't experience experience life, things just stay the same. It's just kind of stagnant, kind of like day in, day out. It's like, it's like when I go home and visit my parents, and they have satellite TV and stuff. They're still the same reruns from like when I was a kid, from when they were kids. You know what I mean? That's still cycling. Sure, there's some new stuff, kind of, but it's like TV. After a while, it's the same old stuff, and after over time, sure, this one thing is going to be real fun. It's going to be real funny, but it's predictable, Cancer. Let's do something unpredictable. Let's shake things up a little bit. So, just like how I'm doing right now. This is, I don't know what I was going to say with that. It's like, look how long this video is. We're shaking things up a little bit. Cancer, go out there and do something fun, and then tell me about it. Do something just crazy. Just way outside of your comfort. You know what? And I'll do the same, and we'll talk about it. You know what? Let me write something down. I'll write it down. We're going to do something fun on Monday, Cancer. So we'll have something to talk about on Monday. So I'll leave that there. Stay safe out there. Keep eyes on the moon. And Cancer, create something. Have fun with it. Do whatever. And I'm excited to hear about it on the next one, Monday.